Right, welcome back everyone. This is going to be part 2, 9F modifications, repairs, sorting some issues out. It's been a little bit of time since I did the last one. Yeah, made a lot of progress, really pleased. We've had it running on air. I've walked through the mechanical lubricator upgrades and what we've done. Had it running on air. It was okay. It was very stiff to run. Obviously, we've had all the valves out. There shouldn't be any reason why it's stiff. So I've done a bit more investigative work into the motion. And we've had to make some changes and sort of upgrades and sort some issues out. So I don't know if you can remember from last time, if you've seen the previous video, highly recommend you go and see it so you sort of know where we are. All the running boards of the engine here have been removed. This is a new oil lubricator, and we're going to talk about oil lubricators a reasonable amount in this video, just because of all the issues we've had. So I've taken all that apart. The other side was all off, I think is what I showed you last time. It was on the trolley, which is just at the back of the workshop. This is sort of garage end. But she's been on the bench. We managed to get the setups okay. The far side, and again, I'll try and show you the far side, but it's covered in tools, worked the best. So we had two, I think you remember last time, we had two different mechanical lubricators. So I just bought one of these, which is like the ratchet. They've got two little rat rings in here, and they're basically very fine movement, and it basically winds down, pushes the oil down, and it pops back up with a spring. Very good. Never had any problems with those systems. It seems to be working okay. On this side, this was the original side that had one from when she was built out of the Winston kit. It was a ratchet, like a real fine pawl. And again, I'll just take you around the different lubricators that we've had. It's no good. I've managed to basically fail it on a bench test where you can basically action it through the movement. And basically, yeah, it would stop working for no reason, and then it would pick back up again. And I think it was just, there's like a tooth ring and a little pawl that sits against one end and then another pawl. So as you pull it, it pulls around on the teeth, and then obviously it allows it to slip back. And I think that was probably just worn out, and maybe replacing it would be okay. I kind of like the idea though of having two the same, and I like these because you can prime them. So you've got a little priming point here, a little knurled end, and again we'll show you all that. But yeah, I've managed to get this side. I've had to modify it again. The other side is all brand new stuff, and I'll take you around that. I'll do my best to try and get amongst all the tools and everything, and then we can go from there. But yeah, so far so good. I'll bring you in a little bit because there's also been some motion work that I've had to done. I've had to redo all the way shaft, which basically allows the motion to do exactly the same either side, and it's what you control going forward and reverse with, and maybe even the opportunity to actually back the engine up a bit when it's at speed, as per prototype. But let's not rush too far ahead. So yeah, so I'll take you into what I've made and what I've done, and then we'll talk about the motion, and then I'll start talking about the different lubricators and why I've kind of gone down this road. And then, yeah, we'll show you all that. Yeah, so stick around and see you in a bit. Right, hopefully this is the right angle and you can discern what I'm trying to talk about. So the main job on both sides of the engine, I'll show you this side just because I can sit here and talk about it, but the other side is exactly the same. So I've made basically duplicate of everything as required. So what you can see here, this is the new lubricator. I think I bought it from Steam Fittings. I bought the original one to replace one I previously bought. I'll go into that in a moment. But these are the ones I've gone for. They've got quite a fine motion. So the first problem I came across is I didn't want them to look like the Winston one. You can see a Winston, whatever it is, straight away for a few telling marks, and one of them is the lubricator assemblies. Now I get it why they've done that way. You've got to get a fair bit of movement from the motion to get the thing to actually click over on its ratchet. These are quite fine, so you've got to balance it really. I wanted quite a fine movement so I could have the actuating arms where I wanted them. I have had to sort of make some changes to make it work, and I use the Les Warnett drawings for the 9F that I've currently got to sort of help with that. But I wanted them to look like they should. They're not absolutely scale. I couldn't get that to work. I did try that. There's still a fair bit of work to do if I wanted to go down that road again. But essentially, the drop here is a bit more to allow for more swing. The arm is as per the drawings of Les Warnett, and this has kind of been a trial and error. This was quite a lot longer. I took some sort of rough scale measurements of some drawings and pictures. and I've set it at this, and this seems to work okay. And the nice thing about these lubricators are you don't need a massive amount of movement on them to make them work, but also you can prime them to start with, which is a bonus, because the previous mechanical lubricator you couldn't prime even on its own. It was a bit of a pain. You had to force a 7BA box spanner in there and all that kind of thing. These will work. So yeah, we'll talk about the mechanical lubricators and what I've made, and I've got a bit of footage of me trying to make bits and pieces. It's not turned out too great on the GoPro, but we'll see if I can salvage any of that, and you can have a look at that too. So that was that bit. I'm just going to move you in. Hopefully you can see this okay. I'll go back, yeah, somewhere like that. I'm just going to focus on this for a minute. So this is the way shaft. There's a bar that goes, and again, straight through to the other side. Very similar assembly. This is the actuating sort of thread. I'm not too sure what thread it is. And it's got like a nut in there that comes off these two arms. That comes down. You've got a way shaft that transmits that to the other side, and then it drops down, and this moves your die block and your actuating lever and all that kind of good stuff. After the last run, and I've got some footage, I'll pull that out, there was clear movement between the two. So from this side to the other side in there, there was woggle, and I'll show you that. Well, wobble, and I'll show you that, what we'd found. What I've had to do is I've had to dismantle all this. I mean, I took the running boards off anyway to make getting the lubricators easier this time, and just turn you that way a little bit. You can see this is the rod that you wind. It's a screw reverser. That's the word I was looking for. And basically wind it forward and backwards, and it actuates on here. Sorry about the big arms. You can probably just see that's moving backwards and forwards. And it was really stiff, and there was a fair bit of movement, but as you can see now, that's it. So that's fully forward. And if I reach around the other side, there's nothing. There's no movement between the two now. So they're absolutely solid. I've had to dismantle all this, take the way shaft out. One of the bearings had come loose, which didn't help. This had basically come off its seat, and you can't get into this. If I'm just pointing here, there's an Allen key. I don't know if you can see that. You won't see it, but there's an Allen key head in there, and there's one underneath as well. And I've basically cleaned them all out, done the threads, and I've basically locked them both in position. I just give us a bit of a deeper countersink into the main bar. So there's a physical lock both sides into that now. Hopefully it won't come loose again. Time will tell. So yeah, we've been pretty busy. As you can see, today is the first time I've had both lubricators on. I will do my best to take you around the other side and try and show you. I won't do that freehand because I wobble a fair bit. But yeah, so I had the die blocks back out. This was catching as well. So what I found was at times the engine would seize. It seems to be catching at the back of here. So basically, as I was winding it, it wouldn't wind all the way up from time to time. And I think it was just all this was sloppy and loose. So I've decided, right, sort all that out. Seems pretty good now. I will retime the engine, and that is a video I'll probably make next, because there's still a bit to do just to try it out. One of the things we've done. Right, see how this angle works. Right, we're on the other side now. So here's the way shaft I was talking about. That transmits your reverser position to both sides. And again, this side was pretty solid, but we could get access to it all pretty easy. I've had all the bearings out, cleaned them all up, repositioned them physically, and Loctited them in position so they shouldn't all move again. Same for this angle as per the other side. And yeah, so there's no, if I easily wiggle this side, I am trying. Yeah, well done, prove yourself. Okay, so yeah, much happy with that. Hopefully that helps the situation out. Whether that was one of the major issues or not sure. And as you can see, this side, again, all the lubrication, mechanical leverage, levers, apologies. Same mechanical lubricator bought from Steam Fittings again, and then the pipe work into the non-return valve just here. So yeah, pretty pleased with it. It looks all right. This side's going to be a bit more work to do when I put the running board on, because it's never had a lubricator on this side. So I've got to cut out the hole, etc., make sure everything fits. I've got lids to go on them. I painted the wrong colour, so I need to change that. And there's a bit of tidy and touch-up work to do when we get round to that as well. So yeah, pretty good. Just thought I'd add in as well. So we've also had all the covers off, cylinders both ends. As you can see, the valve covers are still off, and that's the valve in there. And they've got little square drives on the end here. So there's a locking nut, move you around in there onto the valve spindle. I'll slacken that off and basically you adjust the valves backwards and forwards. Now, one of the major issues when we came to do this was there's no viewing ports. So if I just come around to this side of the engine, again, same thing, there's your valve. No viewing ports. Yes, I've taken the cover off. There's still none. So the valve sits in here. You've got to try and calculate best you can where the actual ports sit. Well, I can get the ports, that was easy. I just measure them from the front surface with the valve out. But where the valve sits compared to the ports is what all this gubbins here is for, all the motion. Yeah, that's taken a bit of time to figure out. I think I've got there. I had to do some maths and stuff, which is okay. I just need to set it up. I think I've got it close. It's just not quite close enough. When we ran it on air, it was still quite clunky. Whether that's just because the engine was very stiff, which I seem to have alleviated now, or whether it was just the fact it's on air, not too sure. Obviously the critical thing is you blow the whistle, all right? Yep. Right, here we go. Welcome to the box of shame. So, lubricators. So, excuse all the bits. We've had, well, starting with this one. This one was one of these. So basically, as the arm moves, it's got an offset cam. See that? Okay. I just couldn't get enough movement to make it work. I think it's probably an okay lubricator, and I'll keep it for someone else. Or if I, decide to build any more of these things, which probably will, use it on that perhaps. But it got me a box of bits, in my box of shame here, with all the bits and pieces that I've kind of had and not had. This was the original Winston mechanical lubricator. As you see, it's all been nicely cleaned up and painted. It's a bit of a mess now, and it's a simple, well, it was, simple ratchet. Basically, I've proven that this isn't reliable, even with the ratchet system working as it should. It's not even pumping now. Let me try and see if I can show you that. Probably start now. And then it'll start, and then it'll come off, and then it'll stop. So it's very, very intermittent, very unreliable. Yeah, and that's what drove me to think, right, there's not much point in messing around with that. So we've gone down the route we've gone down. And I'll just show you what I've had taken me to make that. Okay, let's try this a little bit. So, this is assembly. I've just had it on the engine, just taking it off. What have we been doing? Just take some bits off here. So this works on 2 rat rings that come with the kit. Hello. Just roll that on quite tight. Again, you get a little sort of priming wheel. It's just knurled. It's quite nice. This is the actuating arm, and I'll talk you through that in a second. The main body. So there's the kit, and you roll this round, and it moves this inside, and it pumps down, and then the spring returns it. Yeah, Julia's shed has these on her Britannias. They seem okay. They're not massively expensive. They come as a kit, or you can have them pre-built. I had them a kit anyway because I had to build them over all the bits and pieces I need. This is the original Winson mount for the old lubricator. This is a square inch. The old one is a square inch. It's a relatively straightforward swap. The only difference is on this one, it pumps straight down. So you've got like a pump, sort of 40 threads per inch ME thread, and basically bent attached straight underneath, and then just basically curl the pipe and off you go. I've had to make this little T-piece. Nothing too horrendous to make. Bit of brass. I think it's about 1/2 inch brass, something like that. Maybe not even that big. Basically, drill thought TPI. Obviously not straight through the bottom, otherwise it won't work. And then cross drill for 40 TPI tap as well. And then you get that. And then I just made up a 40 threads per inch, screws in that end, silver soldered on, pipe work, which I reused from the mechanical lubricator off the 9F. And again, I just sort of warmed it through, rebent it to shape, mounted it all up, and say I've had it on and you've seen it. And that was it really. Couple of things. So you see in there the little ratchet in there. So I've drilled this through so that the I can't remember what size it is now, but basically it's going to attach onto there. So it'll slide through there, straight through, put the end on. But the ratchet itself will engage. So if I just run around, you should be able to see that. Trying to pump oil all over the workbench again. So there you go, and that's what it does. And again, I think this is just a 4BA cross drilled. Can't remember what it was to fit the little rat ring in there, but I just pressed that in. That seemed to go in okay. And then a clearance size for the shaft. And then I think it was about 2 inches down and a little hole in the end. And again, some pins made up and the levering arms and then attached. But both sides are now the same. Next really big job is clean this up, paint it black so it doesn't stand out too much on the actual engine, and then looking at modifying the running boards, which I've got in front of me here, and getting those ready to fit. Right, that should wrap it up for now. So yeah, I've been busy, busy just beyond doing 500 gauge steam engines. Made a fair bit of progress. There's been a lot of iterative work, so trying to figure out the old mechanical lubricator and how to make that better. It just became a bit of just a massive loss. It just didn't work. Having obviously the original one I'd bought last year with plans to fit, I had to go through sort of process and sort of figure it out. I think I'm just about there. I think I've got it right. I think I've got the setup right. It looks okay at the moment, barring any kind of massive outstanding issues. We've got the running boards to sort out to finish those bits out. So that's all the stuff that normally sits across here, and then basically retime it. Pretty happy with how to retime it. It's just a bit awkward. Really, I need to do that on the portable trolley because there's loads of room to move it up and down, similar to the bench. But I just can't get to that side of the engine while it's on the bench. Just the fact of a small workshop, just how it goes. But yeah, so hopefully I'll get that sorted out. Pretty pleased. I'm going to give her a kind of a bit of a clean up makeover, just sort out any scratches or dents or anything. She's been in bits for a long time now, and it would be nice just to finish her off properly. I did do a load of cosmetic work before we went to Gilling last. That seems to have held the test of time. There's still some bits I'd like to sort out. Really pleased that way shaft's gone in the way it has. It's absolutely perfect now. It just needs to sort out these valves, make sure they're right. I'm pretty confident the rings and everything are sound. I genuinely still think it just seized because of the lubrication issue. Maybe it's been building up over time. I proved that lubricator doesn't work properly all the time. It needed to. There was nothing to back it up. Now there is, and now I'm pretty confident these things will pump as required. I suppose the next major sort of things to look forward to now are getting her out, running on air, and as I put the footage in this video, it's quite sluggish on air, and it always has been even since I bought it. And I didn't really know whether that was just because it needed a bit more running in, or whether it was lubricating right. It should run. I mean, it didn't run at all when we first tried it not too long ago. It was kind of very sort of stop-start, and then it just seemed to burst into life. So yeah, so I'd like to get her running on air on the rolling road, which was set up before, and I've just taken it out of the way so I can roll it up and down. We'll set the valves. There's a couple of methods. There's a method where basically front dead centers, full forward, back dead center, full reverse. Because I can't see the ports, that's quite hard to do accurately. We have had a little play with the bit of air and basically bleeding it off into a tub of water so you can see the bubbles. Yeah, I don't think I got the technique right. It was pretty close anyway. Anyway, I adjusted it, and then she sprung into life a little bit more. I think there's a bit more to come. So there's still quite a lot of work to do around that. But we are getting there. There is light at the end of the tunnel. I'm really pleased. I'm still really glad I bought it. Let's put it that way. Poor old Manor, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but she's sat under here. There's just piles of tools and stuff everywhere. Might even take you around the workshop just to show you what a complete mess it is. But yeah, we will get back to her. We've got all sorts of things in the pipeline. There's a couple more projects. In fact, there's another engine in here, but you haven't seen it yet. So I'd really like to do a little bit of something on that, but I'll talk to the owner and see when he's free. So yeah, really pleased. It's going well. Spending a lot of time on it, which is hard at the moment, but we're seeing results. As I say, there was quite a lot of work done. In fact, that's what I was going to show you. So yeah, nothing was made once. It's been made a few times. These are all these were the original drop arms, which are a little bit more scale, and I machined them all in one. It didn't quite work. I messed up the last process on that and moved away from it. And then, yeah, all sorts of issues, bits, sort of going down the wrong path. All the old bits that was the dummy one off the other side, rubbish. This was the one that actually meant to work, rubbish. So yeah, so we had some fun. That was the sort of test piece. I don't even see that. Look, a couple of holes in there to see what works. 4BA thread on the other end. There you go. So yeah, it's been fun. The degree of fun has varied, but it has been fun generally overall. So thanks very much for that. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks to everyone who's joined the channel recently. Really pleased you've come. Hopefully you're enjoying it. If there's anything you'd like to see, I'd like to hear it. And yeah, and I'll see you in the next one.